the sentience is inevitable camp here at SingularityNet and Singularity DAO, and we're building it. So really, Marcello touched on the important points.
Sentient AI.
We are building artificial general intelligence, which, when we get those breakthroughs, then has the ability to become artificial superintelligence, smarter than a human, and ultimately, yes, sentient and conscious.
We're here at AIBC Dubai, and with me are two of the world's foremost experts on AI and blockchain. Janet Adams is the COO of SingularityNet, and Marcello Mari is the CEO of Singularity DAO. Welcome, lady and gentlemen. You both gave excellent presentations. I want to get your thoughts on AI and blockchain and talk about your presentation recap. But first, I want to talk to you, Janet, about news coming out of the weekend. Previously thought impossible, the depegging of USDC. Walk us through what happened.
Thanks, David, and it's great to see you here today at AIBC Dubai. Well, for the first time, we saw crypto brought down by a traditional finance bank collapse. SVB Bank, taken over by the regulators last week, had $3.3 billion of USDC reserves, leading the market to be concerned that USDC wouldn't be able to cover its full commitments. And a traditional type run on the bank, a run on the crypto, ETH prices spiked while there was a flight to safety out of USDC. Now, this is a really important moment for crypto. It's when a traditional bank has actually destabilized crypto, whereas the narrative in the media is always that this is going to be the other way around. And what this shows us is that crypto needs an asset class which is not pegged to fiat. 78% of transactions in crypto are conducted through stablecoins, and now we see that stablecoins aren't actually stable at all. And so what we're doing at SingularityNet and with the Cogito protocol, we're introducing a new type of algorithmically driven tracer coin, which is pegged to an algorithmic indices, a green index, also making the planet greener at the same time.
So walk us through exactly how the AI technology in that example will solve the problem of a future depeg from happening. Luna collapsed earlier. Could this technology prevent something from Luna happening again?
This technology is absolutely designed to prevent something like Luna happening again. So we are using algorithms, AI algorithms, to build a treasury, to build an index. So we're pegging our stablecoin, which is not exactly a stablecoin, we're calling it a tracer coin. We're pegging it to a basket of indices instead of fiat. And the indices we're using to start with are green indices, which are indices published by the World Bank and other data, which track the progress towards a carbon net zero environment. So if you imagine, these are indices that move extremely slowly, and they're unmanipulable. And you can't have a bank run on carbon emissions or carbon emissions levels. And so what we're providing as a tracer coin is far more resilient and more reliable. And what it also gives crypto, because the cypherpunk, we're here to democratize access to wealth. But 78% of our transactions are pegged to fiat. That's just not good enough for crypto. So we're inventing an all-new asset class, Cogito protocol, which cannot be depegged.
I want to come back to that point in just a second. Marcello, talk to us about Singularity DAO. I had a chance to interview your colleagues a while ago, and I spoke to Sophia the robot. It was a very fun interview. Amazing technology coming out of Singularity DAO. How is this technology evolving now that AI is in the spotlight? We have chatgpt, everyone's talking about AI. What's next for your firm?
Yeah, so there's plenty of verticals that we are tackling with artificial intelligence at Singularity DAO. So first of all, we've been working with Sophia for quite some time within SingularityNet, and Ben Gortzel is the CEO and one of the leading minds in artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence in the world. So together we co-founded Singularity DAO, and with my co-founder Mario Casiraghi, to actually tackle the issues of how we can use artificial intelligence in decentralized finance. So earlier you were mentioning the depegging of USDC and the crash of Terra and how Cogito can actually help solving these problems. I would say that the two problems are quite different between each other. So for example, as Janet was saying, USDC is a typical TradFi, traditional finance crash that brought down crypto. USD, which was the Terra Luna, was a traditional blockchain problem. And this is mostly due to the lack of counterparty risk management that exists in crypto. So in traditional finance, being institutional, being regulated, there is a technically more thorough due diligence. In crypto, this exists only to a certain level, and I believe, and we're experimenting and using artificial intelligence to actually manage counterparty risk. So how we can use AI to look at a vast amount of data and analyze a vast amount of data to understand who these parties are interacting with, what is the risk of interacting with certain parties. In this way, we'll be able to monitor in real time the whole blockchain, where we know all the data and the transactions are public, to see what is actually happening almost in real time. AI can help us preventing crashes, like it happens for FTX, like it happens for Terra Luna, like it happened for Celsius, and so many other centralized parties. So this is one of the applications that we can use artificial intelligence for.
I want to come back to Janet, but hold on. So AI can help us prevent another Celsius? How can that happen?
Potentially, yes. So imagine that you have, so if you interact with the blockchain, you can see all the transactions happening live, basically as they happen with a tool called Etherscan, for example. However, it's extremely complicated to look at what is happening, how capital is flowing on chain, who they're interacting with, because in crypto you have wallets, and sometimes wallets are tagged, so you know who these players are, sometimes are not tagged, so there is anonymity. So it's difficult to see if they're interacting with a healthy counterparty over an unhealthy counterparty, and this is what happened with Terra, for example. In the case of FTX, we would have been able to spot funds coming out of FTX while they were happening, giving us immediately a red flag signal that could have been broadcasted by analysts to the users so they could access their positions in time before the crash actually happened. Because of the lack of sophistication, the lack of analytics, and the lack of due diligence that happens on-chain, the users were left behind, and they got eventually screwed by a centralized ecosystem.
Okay. Janet, you were talking about the top trends in emerging trends in artificial intelligence. In your opinion, top 2 or 3 trends that are likely to emerge that will affect us all?
Number one, we're seeing the rise of generative AI models for text and images.
Explain to us what that means.
Generative AI models are large language models or large image models. They are deep neural networks which are run on giant data sets, and so through performing millions of transactions and by training these deep neural networks on giant data sets, the neural networks are able to predict what words would come next in a sentence, or what would an image look like if it were generated from words. So they are a form of artificial intelligence which combines and reproduces large data sets, and they're very powerful, and we're seeing them now really bring AI into everyday usage. I'm staying at the Marriott here, and the check-in, the head of check-in was telling me he uses ChatGPT 6 hours a day to generate content for hotel marketing and for emailing stuff. Everybody knows about ChatGPT, and it has really brought AI into mainstream usage. Now, what that enables us to, so that's what those models do. That's how they work. Those are generative AI. They're currently enjoying a huge amount of success on language and on images. And over the coming 6 to 12 months, what we're expecting to see is similar levels of high performance emerging from these large deep neural networks being applied to generation of music, and we're working on generative AI music tools at SingularityNet with our Mosaic project, and we're also expecting to see them being applied to generative trading strategies and to be able to do time series analysis. So imagine a ChatGPT actually generating a trading strategy and generating alpha. They're not there yet, but we expect to see that over the coming 6 to 12 months.
I want to talk about that just a minute. Trading strategies. Let's say we were to plug in ChatGPT to the internet today and sync that up to real-time financial data. How could it generate alpha? Tell us about that.
Well, today, we don't think it would really successfully do so, because it will simply repeat all of the patterns which it has seen previously. And we all know that trading tomorrow is never the same as yesterday. But as we go forward, as it becomes able to integrate semantic data with quant data, this is the magic missing piece which we're expecting to see over the next 6 to 12 months. It will be able to actually generate both language and numbers-informed trading strategies. intelligence to generate alpha. We're not there quite exactly yet. And then what that brings us to, so once we have these now we have generative AI models becoming very, very powerful and being trained on giant data sets. That has turned the focus of artificial intelligence research back towards more complex architectures, towards cognitive architectures. And this is because it brings an extra layer of controllability. We can use language models to verbalize what is a large, complex model doing. They bring an added layer of interpretation from a human perspective to our models. And so where in the past 5 to 10 years, AI has been largely focused, and the investment in AI has been largely focused on applied AI or narrow single AI applications doing one single task, what we're now seeing is a return to the much more exciting and much more powerful fields of cognitive architectures and complex systems. And where this ultimately takes us, of course, is towards artificial general intelligence.
Marcello, just to follow up on that, I'll give you one argument for why AI could be, where an artificial intelligence computer could be a better investor than a human, and I'll give you one argument against, and I'll let you evaluate. One argument for is that if you look at computers and how they've able to perform against humans in chess, let's say in Go, for example, which is a game, computer games, all these computers, IBM Watson, for example, has beaten humans in very quantitative tasks. So if you were to talk about a very quantitative approach to trading and investment, potentially we can see a computer outperform a human because it's just able to compute more and faster. However, a computer doesn't have what investors call intuition and perhaps an emotional discipline. How would you evaluate the statement that a computer may never be as good as a human when it comes to long-term investing? We can never have a Warren Buffett computer. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think at some point we're going to have strategies that are completely managed by artificial intelligence that are going to be able to make better investment decisions than humans. So you explained it very well. The AI beating humans at Go or at chess, for example, those are typical application of narrow AI models, as Janet was explaining. So those are models that are really good at doing one single thing, which is quantitative, as you said, but like specifically designed within the rules of the Go board, of the chess boards, with the chess elements, of course. So when we reach a level in which we can combine different artificial intelligence techniques all together and allow artificial intelligence to make investment decisions, then we're going to have an AI that, for example, can scrap social media and understand what the sentiment is today around Bitcoin, how it's going to move, and trying to predict the price. And then it takes it and he stores it there. And then he sees a market fluctuation a year ago and recreates the market in real time, trying to understand and predict what the market fluctuation would be in that case. And then we have reinforcement learning agents that actually test the market. We have swarm of agents interacting to each other, testing the market constantly with trial and error, with the system of trial and error. So if you combine all of these techniques together, and perhaps even the counterparty risk that I was mentioning before, for example, should I invest in the next meme coin coming up? Well, if I have an AI that can do thorough due diligence on the next meme coin and understands what counterparty is interacting with, is it a safe decision or not, combined with social media, combined with previous market fluctuation, and all of these elements together, then yes, probably we're going to have an AI that can actually make better investment than humans.
Well, I hope so.
Right?
If I may also comment on this, Marcello's been extremely articulate on how AI is developing towards trading strategies. But I'm personally opposed to the intuition factor in trading. I've worked in banking for 20 years. I've seen many an intuition go south. I'm much more of a data-driven trading strategy advocate myself. And what AI can't currently give us is a measure or a prediction of idiosyncratic risk. So what it can do, it can absolutely predict, it can do all risk management and predict risk strategies based on what's happened in the past. But for example, it would not be able to predict based on its past strategies, based on, if we're just using deep neural networks, which is today's most popular method, it won't be able to predict that Putin's going to invade Ukraine. It won't be able to predict interest rate hikes. It won't be able to predict bad jobs data or political turmoil or non-pattern situations arising.
A lot of humans couldn't do that anyway, but yes.
Well, a lot of humans couldn't, but this is where the human intelligence comes in, and this is where the very, very best of trading and human with AI strategies is most successful in the world today, because humans who are monitoring geopolitical risk, who are experienced traders, who have, you may call it intuition, who have a strong sense of how markets work, together with AI currently have the edge. But as we move towards neural symbolic AI, which brings us much more advanced reasoning and the ability to generalize, as Marcello was saying, bringing it to Singularity DAO through Singularity Net, this ability to learn and apply intelligence to new situations is going to give AI the ability to actually start managing idiosyncratic risk, and that's going to be a game changer.
I want to close on this same question for both of you. Some of the downside risks of a fast developing AI ecosystem all around the world, what could possibly go wrong? I'm going to start with you, Marcello. I've talked to Sophia the robot. We've seen plenty of sci-fi movies where robots go rogue. Evaluate whether or not these are accurate and or realistic possible scenarios. Can we see Will Smith fighting a Sophia of the future?
Potentially. I mean, I think this is the time where we need to work on making the next artificial intelligence benevolent, and we need to put an effort, and I think the blockchain actually provides the right fabric to build benevolent artificial intelligence, a benevolent AGI. There is a potential that artificial intelligence can go wrong. Yes, it's impossible to predict. However, it's not up to us to stop the development of artificial intelligence right now. There's very little that we can do apart from making sure that every action that we do goes towards the development of benevolent artificial intelligence.
The issue of sentience, is that something that could happen? We're talking about sentient AI.
Well, we're in the sentience is inevitable camp here at Singularity Net and Singularity DAO, and we're building it. So, really, Marcello touched on the important points.
Sentient AI.
We are building artificial general intelligence, which, when we get those breakthroughs, then has the ability to become artificial superintelligence, smarter than a human, and ultimately, yes, sentient and conscious.
We still need to understand what consciousness means and what sentience, what is a sentient being, right? So, when we define that, maybe we can see how AI can actually become conscious, but we still, even intelligence itself, right? We're still working on understanding.
My question is, why would you want that?
Why would we want sentient intelligence? It's the progress. It is the natural progress of technology. It's the direction we're moving on. But why would we want us to be the ones who develop sentience? That's the relevant question. And Marcello was very eloquent in his talk about the power and the importance of decentralization and no single governance point of failure. Who would you rather invents the most powerful technologies ever invented? Us, who are governed by a democratic, decentralized community, or a political organization, or a military organization, or a advertising big tech, whether it's Google, DARPA, Chinese government, etc. Because as Marcello says, every single algorithm, every single model, every single step that Singularity Net and Singularity DAO take is for the benefit of humanity. We have kindness and compassion inbuilt, and we are building these sentient beings of the future to be loving, caring, kind, compassionate, inclusive, democratic, bringing benefit to all of the world with these technologies.
Let's end the discussion here, Marcello. Tell us about some consumer applications of your work that we can learn more about.
At Singularity DAO, we're working on creating the world's first AI-managed crypto portfolio, so completely and solely managed by artificial intelligence. We believe we're a few years away, maybe a couple of years away, but right now anybody can actually join on singularitydao.ai our decentralized trading strategies, meaning there are non-custodials, meaning that you're always in charge of your funds, you don't send your funds to a centralized entity, so and these strategies are performing extremely well. We're also giving opportunities to join the Singularity Net ecosystem by supporting companies that are launching right now within the decentralized AI ecosystem created by Singularity Net. So we're very much democratizing access to these opportunities that were before only accessible by a selected few, by the top 1%. So thanks to Singularity DAO, anybody can join, anybody can participate, and anybody can participate also to the governance of the protocol.
Janet, anything to add?
Well, one consumer application I'd like to highlight is our Rejuve longevity app, which is launching shortly. It's currently in beta testing. We have 1,000 beta testers across 60 countries. To Marcello's point about democratizing access, Rejuve is about democratizing access to health. What the app does is it estimates a person uploads their data. Their data is encrypted into NFTs. Based on their data, we estimate their age, and we can give them some tips and hints as to how they can increase their longevity and their general health. Also, if their data is used for the development of any treatments or therapies, they get the benefit of that. We're for the first time, we're allowing people to actually benefit from health trials, from development of new drugs. So that's our Rejuve longevity app. Check it out on Google and iOS.
Okay, we'll put the links in the description down below. Janet and Marcello, a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining me at the AIBC.
Awesome to meet you, David.
Awesome to meet you too.
Thanks for interviewing me.
And good luck with your products and your launch.
Thank you.
I'm David Lynn. Stay tuned for more.